Hello and welcome to another episode of A Ghost in the Magazine. I'm Steph,
And I'm Mel.
and this week's movie is The Invitation. I don't know where it's gonna fall in the Black History Month rotation, but it's for Black History Month. I know that you can't see the black woman behind me unless I lean. You can only see this creepy motherfucker. And um, I have a lot of feelings about this movie, but I'm gonna start right out the gate and ask you first. Did you see this movie in the theater the first time?
No, no. I
Okay.
saw it as soon as it dropped on Netflix.
Okay. I remember being in the theater and seeing the trailer for this first time, and I was like, because I love me a vampire movie. No, I
Yeah,
love me a vampire
of
movie.
course. Right.
Okay. I feel like this would have been a good one to see in the theater because it was very, very dark in lots of parts. I'm
Hmm.
embodying the darkness because we're just not turning on the big light. So, um,
Yeah, there was a lot of, little soundtrack stuff too that would have been nice, theater.
yes, to get that little surround sound moment. I have to say, I didn't like this movie as much as I wanted to.
Me neither,
Oh,
man.
good.
At the end of it, I was like, no, really? Okay.
Okay, I'm really, really glad we're on the same page. I was
I'm curious
concerned.
why you don't like it.
Okay,
It's
it,
probably one of the same reasons, though, I'm thinking.
well, I mean, first of all, I was really excited because I thought that this was like an original concept movie,
Yeah.
and it's not. And like that's okay, but you figure out pretty quick that this guy's Dracula, and I'm just like, there's so many Dracula remakes and reboots and reimaginations and whatever. As soon as I heard Lucy's name, I was just like, oh, okay, like, all right. I was already having feelings, but like, this just kind of did me in right there. So I wasn't as disappointed with the rest of the shit because my excitement was already dead. So
Yeah, I did think that was a little honestly unnecessary because I don't
mhm.
think they did enough to tie this guy to really the legacy of Dracula. He could have just been some random rich vamp, you know. I don't
Literally.
think they had to drop little,
No,
little
they didn't have to do that.
acorns of that.
No, because it wouldn't be that big of a stretch of imagination for me to imagine that, because we know that money and power grant privacy. So
Right.
if you told me there were rich white dudes who are actually vampires, I'd be like, all right, checks out.
Yeah, totally. Especially, they go on and on about how very European he is. He could have just said, my family's been tucked away in this castle for years.
Like,
I
yeah,
mean, you
checks
didn't
out.
really need to make the tie. So,
And like, no, why did you not? Why did you
okay. I
not?
didn't like it because I was like, sis, you let your racial dysphoria get the best of you. you know, the
Yeah.
second she was like, I'm gonna find my DNA, and then she was just like kind of bedazzled by the fact that she had rich white people in her ancestry. And I'm like, that should have been
Yes.
the first red flag. Like, don't go through the castle. Like, don't just poke around in your Scottish roots. They're horrible. They're bloody. Like,
They
no
are.
matter who you are. So
Okay.
I
No.
just thought that I was sad for her, which ruined a lot of the triumphant feeling I should have had at the end. Because I'm like, you wouldn't be in this situation if you just, accepted yourself a little bit more. I mean, honestly, like,
Yes, I get it. And you know what's hard for me to believe? Like it's okay if we dance around the plot because I mean it's Dracula. Hello. What's hard for me to believe is that she has a solid black female friend. Okay. She's dark skinned. And she says all of the right things. She gives her all of the correct caution. Don't trust men with goatees. Don't
right,
trust white people like white people that you don't no, especially across the pond. You know what I
right,
mean? It's not
yeah,
in your backyard. This man who doesn't know you, okay? It's okay that it pops up on her DNA thing, even though it's rather quick. And I think all of that's great because my mom did her DNA, and through that, like we discovered all of our native roots were like registered. It's very important to
Right.
her for us to know where we came from, as I can see it being for her because she only had her parents and now her parents are gone. However, blood does not make people family. In fact, her
Right.
friend was like more of a family figure to her, and I
Absolutely.
can't. And I'm not. Well, first of all, I'm not fucking going. I don't care what cousin you are and how much
Yeah.
money you have. I don't know you. You're a strange white man I know nothing about at all. And
Right. Yeah.
that was just a
And to
bit
get
much.
a friend like that, it really
Mhm.
is kind of hard to believe that she didn't ask herself, you know, I mean, you can't be ignorant of the power dynamics in that situation. Every single other person there will be rich. Every single other person there will be in some type of power position. Then number one, why would they really want you there? And
Uh
number
huh.
two, why would you go? Because you'll always be in a position of hierarchical danger,
Danger.
danger. And to go alone, and think like a couple of text messages back and forth with the only
This is
reasonable
spooky.
person in your life is going to be enough. So
No.
yeah, it wasn't so much the DNA search for me because, okay,
Right.
want to know. It was that she was like, "Oh yeah, rich white people in my lineage. Let's go. Let's meet up. Time to
No.
leave the castle."
Disrespectfully, fuck the rich white people in my lineage because there is a reason why I
Seriously.
did not know them before my family died. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Yeah.
And okay, so I have white people, not by blood, but through my stepmom's family. And like, I love my white grandpa. He's the best grandpa in the world. However, family get-togethers, like, since I moved, I don't really tell. I don't really do that anymore. But they try to have like a family FaceTime with everyone together. That alone, that makes me uncomfortable. You're not a part of my life. I don't want
Right.
to FaceTime with you on a holiday. I want to holiday with people that I love. I want to do what I want to do. I don't want to do any of that. To be in their physical presence, like even if it's here, that's a lot to me. That is a lot. Like
Right.
anxiety, no thank you. But then to get on a plane and go stay in this man's, but like the instant I saw, like, met the butler or whatever, because the butler was rude as shit. The butler was rude as hell. I gotta go. No, like
I would not. I would have known the vibe. First of all, I
yes.
would have gone. But second of all, if I get out and somebody treats me like that, I'm like, oh, never mind. Like
No.
there's no way I would just keep going with it. Like the very first person she talked to.
Yes.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed for her, knowing that as a multiracial person, and
Mhm.
knowing that it can be dangerous, and usually is dangerous to value your whiteness over, whatever else. Like, it's not like don't weaponize your whiteness, don't use your privilege because, like, whatever. But, I think that was kind of what got her. She was like, "Oh, I'm not nothing. I'm from this cool line." of like,
Yes.
what made you feel like nothing before?
Right, because
She had a rich chosen family.
it's weird to me because she didn't, it's not like she grew up in the foster care system where she's always had nothing. She had two loving parents who were
Right.
together. They just happened to pass away. There are a
Exactly.
lot of people who don't have that at all. You know what I mean? And that would like lend more to needing to know where you came from. I'm all for like send me a postcard from the UK. I think that's really nice. But I'm not gonna do this thing. And she falls in really, really easily there.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. He says some of the corniest stuff. He's like, "Is it working?"
Oh my god!
It
Literally.
was not cute. So
No. He was charming or whatever, but not like enough to get me naked. You know what I
no.
mean? Like I am a wildly distrusting person by nature, but like I don't know, like okay, we watched this movie, covered this movie Immortal. and Nat, I think it was Nat Wolf, Nat or Alex Wolf was the guy, and he ended up being Thor, but it was just like this mortal guy, and you're like, there's something special about him, and then you figure out what it is. And I literally told Elle, I was like, I would follow this man to the ends of the earth. But this guy was like, I was like, I would do whatever the mission was. I'm going, I'm yours forever. But like this fucking guy, this fucking guy, his wealth is on display, like gross. And then like the scene where they kiss and like the fireworks and everything, I'm just like, this is real life. This is not like, if anything starts to seem like too much of a weird romance movie, I'm out. I'm out. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just so suspicious.
A lot of what he said kind of had a caveat kind of, essence about it too. Like, hold up, he really only asked her, like, in a show of power, if she wanted him to do things like nobody would say no to, like with the fireworks. She says, this is a little much, don't you think? And he says, want me to turn them off? Like, nobody's gonna say no. So,
Fuck
like, of
you,
course,
guy.
for all we know, he couldn't do anything about it. And like, he just knows nobody's going to ever say no to turn the fireworks off. And other things like that. Would you like to stay in a more shitty room then? Like, she's not going to say no to the luxury room.
Right.
So is that really power? You're just giving her ultimatums that's like, you know, have my wealth in your face or don't. Like, that really wasn't
Yes.
romance.
No, it wasn't. And I know that like her friend was drilling her about dates and stuff, and she's like, "Oh, I can't do the New York dating scene right now." And like, I live in Miami. I know the Miami dating scene is trash here, but like, that is just like an in general thing. If I'm not fucking with dudes, I'm not fucking with dudes. Doesn't matter. Not here, not there, not anywhere. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I don't think Mr. Transylvania really was gonna change a lot. And he had some creeper vibes, like when the other vampirist, came in her room at night and scared the shit out of her, and then he comes in like his tank top and it's like, "I'll
His
protect you." I
wife
would have
beater.
accused him.
Yes,
I would have been like, "Why are you right here? Was that you?" I would have accused him, and she was just
that's what
like,
I
"Thank
said.
you for saving
No,
me."
no.
Yeah, I'm like, you're too close to this. Like,
Right. Like literally, I don't know. Like, it's not like, it just makes no sense to me. If I wake up in the middle of the night, right, in a strange place, and I see Nosferatu hands on the canopy of the bed I'm sleeping in, and then this man drags me out from under the bed and asks me what's wrong, you book me
he
a
did
flight
drag
home.
her.
You
Yeah.
drag
He's
her.
like, "Oh, sorry, I'm just here to save you." I would have been
No.
kicking.
Right, because if you're a friend and not a foe, then how about a little friendly foot tickle? Like, hey there, are you
She
okay? Because you're under the bed. I'm worried.
Yeah,
I heard you screaming.
right. She really was clueless until she was like chained up in the basement. I mean, they laughed at her at dinner. They basically mocked her openly, like, "You're gonna get eaten," and she was like, "Champagne,"
Yeah.
just
Especially that
like,
bitch
look around.
vampire Victoria. I hated her. There was nothing to like about her character. She was just nasty through the whole thing. And yeah, when they introduced those two, I knew I was in trouble. I was like, oh, there's two of them. Like Dracula's brides. Is it like Dracula's brides? And then they did this magic number three thing, like, we're most powerful when there's three wives, when there's three families connected. And I'm like, what is the
Vampires
importance
are
here?
witches. Like,
Right, the power of three will set you free, I guess.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I thought. I was like, okay, they're trying to, add some culty witch. It was like cult and a witch, like a whole bunch of stuff going on. And I didn't understand Victoria's vibe either. I was like, why be jealous? This is gonna be your sister wife. It seems like you get to bone her too. I mean,
Right? It
right?
doesn't seem like they want him romantically anyway. It really never seems that way. So, like, what are you really mad for? And, like, this is what you want. You want the power of three to be completed so you have this endless power and never age forever, right? Isn't that the goal?
Yeah. So I thought she kind of was a plot hole in a way
Mm,
because it didn't if if anything, the brides should have been trying to get a third, you know?
Right. Like
should've-
sweeten her up. Like Lucy. I genuinely liked Lucy, but I think I always liked Lucy. She was just very sweet and like I've always wanted a sister. And I can imagine being stuck with Victoria for 100 fucking years. I would want out also. And he's
yeah.
not really building like anything of worth to them because what does it matter if you have this eternal life and you're stuck in a fucking castle forever, like with your bitch
Yeah.
ass?
He really was not doing anything that cool. It wouldn't have done it for me, you know? He
Right.
comes walking out of the castle like, I'm here. I'm always here. And I'm like, well,
Wow.
go back to America after this and like eat from a food truck. So that's what
Literally.
like wait, that sounds like more fun.
What he offers them is family, status, privilege, and power, and she flat out says, I'd rather die. And like, same sis, but I have to admire her fight because I'm gonna be 100% honest. If I'm in this, well, I wouldn't be in this fucking predicament. But if for some reason I find myself in this situation and I sit down at this fucked up dinner, the mask dinner or whatever, and he's just like, like we're getting hitched, and I look around and they're cutting throats and drinking blood, I would literally go, "Oh fuck, all right," and just sit there because what else are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many, all these people in there, and they're all in cahoots, and I'm just like, well, this is what my dumbass fucking gets, I guess.
I just would have been like, can y'all pass the crawfish? I saw they had some crawfish,
I
but
saw.
because you knew in the exposition that she wasn't going to be able to do anything until she was bitten. They plainly said that. The wives explained that explicitly out loud.
Yeah,
They
they did.
once he bites you, you'll get his power, but not until the exchange or whatever. Will you be a vampire? So there'll be a period of time when you're really strong, but you won't be a vampire yet. Like, it just was so obvious, that
And
she
then,
wouldn't
like,
have an opportunity to do that. I would have enjoyed my creepy dinner. The aesthetic of that
yeah.
dinner, I loved.
I'm like, all right, this is lit. Her dress was beautiful. She was stunning in everything that she wore.
Yeah, she was bad.
Ugh, she's beautiful. Like, it hurts almost to look at her.
Has she done some other stuff? I didn't even look into her.
I don't know, but I'm going to look after. She does. She does. She's very easy on the old eyeballs.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was like, well, there are less interesting heroines, that's for sure. So.
She's much prettier than he is.
Yeah, he gave me and I think this was kind of good casting / costuming. He really gave me old man in a youngish man body,
yes.
with his vampire vibes. So
yeah, for me though, it wasn't the whole movie. It was like right after he decided to show his evil shit. Then
for
he
me,
was
the
like,
whole movie because he had on them tight ass clothes and he just
tight clothes.
wiry body that was kind of like old guy but young guy.
I just feel like that's how British dudes, distinguished British dudes, dress. Also, we recorded the first episode for Mayfair. For the witching hour yesterday, and I was like screaming through the whole thing, honestly. Chapters 1 through 5, and we were talking about Aaron Leitner, and I was like, love a hot old British man. That's
it's
what
either
it seems
the
like.
greasy porn stash guys or someone's
Stop
dad.
it.
Yeah.
Stop it. I don't know what it is. That's all messed up. But I mean, like, she's pretty.
Yeah, he was all right.
Nah, I wasn't.
I
He didn't do
thought
it.
he was creepy. I just didn't see the romantic side of him. She was bedazzled by.
But like, even that, you can't fall for a dude in like 2 days. You can't. You don't. That's not real. It's not real.
I would not have even jokingly said yes to that proposal in bed.
No, I literally would have been like, absolutely the fuck not. Like, it does not matter to me that we're laying here naked together.
I mean, I would have been like, they all say that after.
He would have eaten you.
Yeah, probably. Which, whatever. Better than marrying him. So
rather be that. Yeah, well, so I mean, the end of this movie, like, uh, so the
Yeah.
thing happens. She says yes to marrying him, and then she gets crazy. He's a stupid fucking idiot because Lestat would never allow this to happen. Like,
Would never. Would,
never. He drinks her blood. No, she drinks his blood. She drinks his blood, and it's supposed to go the other way around to complete the cycle. And he's all like, "Oh, she drinks so much of my blood." Uh, uh. And she's like, "Yeah, you're not fucking drinking mine. I'm gonna go drink this girl's blood." And that these things, I'm sure they have like really precise rituals and shit. I can't imagine anyone would just let her get up from that and you're like, all right, yeah, do whatever ever you want, lady who we keep saying is beneath us.
yeah, they definitely would have been like, she must take the blood or something like that, or
Right. Like at least Victoria be like, no bitch.
they're
Drink
right.
it.
Knowing that, it would have been them being less powerful or whatever. So,
But then
and
again,
yeah,
it's
Lestat would
confusing.
have never, by the end of a conversation with Lestat, she would have been begging him to turn
Mm-hmm.
her. So,
That's
I
true.
mean,
That's true. But she would
there was,
have a better deal with Lestat. She would have freedom. Like, yeah,
yeah.
I'm a vampire, but I can go wherever I want. I can do whatever and whoever I want. You know?
What did they do? What did the wives do for like hundreds of years? Just chill in the castle, absolutely nothing. Look for one chick they could have found like hundreds of
Oh my
years
god,
ago. Just feel like they
bodies.
did nothing. He was offering nothing. I'm like, okay, you can buy nice dresses like in a castle. Like nobody's gonna see me except for like a bunch of weird cousins that you
Right.
invited.
You can wear them for each other. And so like these families offer wives for what is it? Protection and prosperity. I believe were the PPs of this deal. But like what the fuck do you need protection for? This is not the 1800s.
And did you notice when she went to the old couple's house who was in on it
The
eventually? They
Harkers.
didn't have shit. I was like, what are y'all getting out of this deal? This is just a raggedy old cottage house. And
That's what I
you're
want to know.
feeding up young bride wives to a vampire for this? Like, how crappy is your life before this? Like,
Well, also they were Jonathan and Harker, so I'm like, what was the deal there? Like,
yeah.
what did you get? Like, what does he do for you?
That's
Are
that's
these
all I'm saying. The house was crappy. They had like a landline. Like I don't know. Just they're like, excuse me 1 minute while I get the rotary phone from the kitchen. This is a modern setting. And even though he's giving us everything, Daddy's taking good care of us. They have like a mildewed ridden house. Like, you know, okay, where's your firstborn? I don't know.
Oh my god, old bitches afraid of change. That's all this was. It was all old white people afraid of change, and so they would rather kidnap an American girl and give her to marry. What?
Yeah, the gestures and symbols were definitely given like some clan type
Ah,
vibes.
yeah.
Remember that when they were
Mm.
sitting around at the table and they were
Yeah,
like,
the I'm sorry if that's bad.
yeah,
I was just doing what they did in the movie. It's weird when
it,
they
it was.
announce the family names and they're like, yeah, no, I want nothing to do with that. Like cousin Oliver, what did they do to you that you decided to take this on? It was giving Midsummer, the guy who went and brought the people back to his.
I never would have trusted Oliver. I never would have met with him in the first place. But when she met with him, he was not really normal. He was like,
No,
"Oh my God, come over. You're amazing," and like didn't ask her two things about herself.
no.
Really,
I
she
would
just
have met up with her or him, but I would
yeah.
have brought my friend and be like, free dinner. Be like, you're paying for my friend's dinner. We'll hear what you have to say. And if I did decide to go, my friend's coming with me. You're paying for my friend's trip. And then, because obviously she didn't have any like compass of her own, so her friend would
Right.
have been like, "This is sketchy. We're leaving."
Yeah, I didn't understand. Well, she was so trusting when she's supposed to have been from like the hard knock of life. Like
Yes.
honestly, the hard knock of life teaches you not to meet up with cousin Oliver. Cousin Oliver. Just saying. I mean, Truly, it does. Like, I'm sure I got a bunch of random family,
I
around
know
too.
I do.
Yeah,
Hmm.
we kind of all do, but
And also, some of us are related to serial killers. So, like, how he wasn't, not
uh,
me. It's not,
okay. I was gonna say, you're just gonna drop that. Are you related to a serial killer?
as far as I know, no. But like my ex husband told me a story about his cousin, and his cousin definitely murdered his girlfriend. So I'm just like, you really are. I feel like we're all just like 5 degrees of separation to a fucking serial killer at any moment already. So like, why tempt fate, honey?
I could see it. Thinking about a couple members of my family, I could see it.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
hmm.
Well, spoiler alert, she gets away. She sets everything on fire. She stabs him in the chest. She fights the wives and then they kill themselves. And then she's out that hoe. She cuts her hair off, and then her friend and her track down cousin Oliver. And unfortunately, it cuts off before they deal some whoop ass, which I would have loved to see. But her friend found a bat, and she said the funniest thing and was like, "Isn't it ironic? Bats and vampires." I said, "That's right. Smash him in the fucking face." Period. The end.
Yeah. I thought that was a little.
It was
So
campy.
really, that's all that happened. Because I mean, technically, I guess we're supposed to think that that didn't kill him, or did it?
I don't know. I don't know what Oliver was doing this whole time. I don't know where he went. I don't know where the guests of the wedding went. I just know that the castle was on fire.
All those people who should be like very traumatized from what they've just seen. Yeah, I don't know where they
Yeah,
went.
but I mean, if they're not traumatized by the fucking butler cutting that girl's throat in front of them and like ladling the stuff in cups and feeding them to the wives and the guy, like they don't give a shit.
If there's anything they stayed true to with that trope, is that vampires are very wasteful. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's always pouring down the mouth. It's always like coming out of the goblet. Like, catch it. Like,
Yes, like
And they got like 2 cups and then threw her to the side. I'm like, I think each person has like 2 gallons or something.
they
Like,
have so much like
let's get a
refrigerate that
proper
shit.
pour.
But then they're like probably don't have refrigerators because they're just like, ugh, whatever. But I'm like, one of these days you will run out of people, so
Get a
it'll take a long
refrigerator.
time. Right, invest. You got enough money, bitch. Meh.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt bad for the maids because I thought in a way they tried to give them a little bit of character. Like we heard
They
what the
did.
one chick was listening to, which,
Yeah,
that's characterization.
yeah. I think that also says something that they treated the help the way it did, and then the help was like they had the most substance to them. So it just goes to show like money is nothing. And also I can't think of anything worse than eternal servitude, like this butler bitch. Like that really chaps my ass. So
Yeah.
different strokes for different folks.
And it's obvious she wasn't totally innocent because she said she was gonna get what she deserved, and I'd have been like, okay, thank you for your service. All right,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
Bye
don't know,
bye.
like, did they ever explicitly say? I guess besides the one friend who was wise and hip, this is racially creepy.
No.
No,
No.
they're just like,
Yeah. But you know what this reminds me of? Get Out, because he had that friend who was pretty vocal, but that friend was like, "You see how this is fucked up, and she's white, and they're white, and you see all the
right.
whiteness that's fucked up. Get out of there, brother."
So I couldn't remember if anybody had said now, hold on. Except for the one friend, I feel like she did say something about him being ultra white.
Yes,
The
they talked about them being very white, but then she's like, "Oh, you're gonna get some over the pond dick," or something like that. So I'm like, it doesn't really matter to her. Yeah, I really wanted to love this movie. I loved her, and she was the only thing that I loved about this movie. Besides,
Yeah, that's
that
why
was
I
it.
asked. I want to see her do something else. It was a little bit too clueless
Yes.
until, so the only clue you have shouldn't be revenge at the
No.
end. If you can get a
Revenge.
revenge clue, you could get a clue ahead. So
Right.
I
She's
just,
intelligent. She's creative. She's an artist. She's empathetic. None of these people were giving, like, it was giving cold white people you don't know. strangers, absolute strangers who
Yeah.
clearly
Which
want
should
something from
equate
you.
with danger. Like, let's
Yes.
just be honest. You should
Yes.
equate that with danger, you know?
Yes. Yes.
So that could have been more explicit for my taste, you know? But
Agreed. Agreed. I think it should have been. It would have added a little bit extra to this movie. I probably would have liked it a little bit more. It's not a horrible movie, but it's definitely not. I thought it was going to be like a favorite, honestly, because I was looking for to add another vampire movie into the rotation, but it just isn't, and I'm probably not going to watch it again.
yeah, and with a black woman too, I wanted it. Like, but
I
I just,
needed it.
right, yes.
Okay.
You know, I have met several of us, and it just wasn't, my disbelief could not be suspended for like one
No.
second, really.
Like not at all. And she had sex with him. The way my clothes would have been glued to my body. No.
And it's not like she said to her friend necessarily, oh, I'm going to go have a wild weekend, you know. The
Yes.
way they talked about it was like, oh, you might find somebody like you're into,
Mhm.
you know. It wasn't just like fireworks and fuck buddies, but yeah.
No. The moral of the story, kids, do your DNA. But if any creepy cousins, sorry, but especially the white ones, just pop up unexpectedly and invite you overseas, just tell them you don't have a passport, and then do your own research on them. Okay.
That's a good one. I don't have a passport. That would really be.
Right? Sorry, because I immediately thought they couldn't fucking get me. I don't have a passport, so. Oh, I would love to go to this unknown cousin's whole wedding with you, but I can't. I would love to see Dracula fix that problem.
Yeah. They'd be like, how about you send me a gift and I'll sign it and send it to them? All
Right.
right.
I
You
will
just
mail
meet
you a
up with
gift.
whatever they really like. Okay, thanks, cousin Oliver.
And
I didn't, they didn't have to make her like her, multiracial identity was exotic. And that's why she was desirable, that her bloodline was exotic and, pulls from here and here, like I just feel like,
she didn't even have to be
stereotype.
black. She was just a female Alexander, happened to be in the bloodline. That's all they were looking for. She didn't even have to be black. It almost didn't mean anything. You know what I mean? They still would have thought she was less than because she didn't have any fucking money. That's all I got.
That's all I got. I wanted to like it. It was just okay.
It was just okay.
I definitely wouldn't watch it again.
No. But anyways, you can find our podcast on the interwebs at ghostinthemagazine.site or on Twitter at GITM Podcast. You can find me on Twitter at WitchXPudding.
And I'm on Twitter at Hedda_Mel.
Okay, bye.